There's a lot about SBH that people know, and there's even more about SBH that people don't know. Counseling Center is packed on a daily basis with children, adults, couples, and senior citizens who are seeking help.
We are not immune. A lot of the things we see going on in the world are going on in our community as well.
Mental health challenges affect everyone, regardless of your income, your background, your level of religion.
SBH is here with multiple resources and a whole team to provide you with the support you need.
The clinicians are competent, educated professionals where they can provide attentive care in a real, genuine way.
When I was doing my master's program, I was on their team of interns. I felt like I was really guided very well under a lot of guidance and therapists that were very experienced.
We pride ourselves in offering mental health support groups that cover an array of topics.
Every single support group has you in mind and molds to what you need.
We've done parenting anxious kids, single mom support group, OCD groups. God willing, in the fall we have a few up on the roster that we're excited about.
A few people had sent me an Instagram post saying, here's a working mom support group. I said, oh wow, SBH is running a program. This is unbelievable. This is an opportunity to join the support group, meet with other moms who were also struggling with the same concept as me. And once I had that group, it gave me the strength and the courage to keep doing what I was doing.
A few months after I gave birth, I was feeling extra anxious, and a friend of mine suggested I reach out to SBH. They immediately recommended one of their Power Mom support groups. I remember coming to the first session and recognizing all these faces of girls that I know that you think are not dealing with anything.
When my mother passed away, I asked Bikor Halim, I want to know if you could do this bereavement group, and they were thrilled to do it. The women who have been coming feel very comforted by each other. They feel understood, and it's been a success.
SBH's real goal and ultimate success is to catch problems before couples end up in the counseling center. Shlomo Lieberman designed and curated this awesome couples workshop for couples who have a great marriage and who don't need help.
After the first class, we actually ended up having a great time and we enjoyed being there. We were all talking.
It's with your friends, it's light, it's easy, and it's fun. We had such a great time.
And we actually left very happy that we came.
I got a call from Sharon Batesh with my friend David Lignato. She, out of nowhere, said, hey guys, SBH wants to put us in a room with successful community leaders and to really see how could we connect with them and what could we learn from them, not just from a financial standpoint, but from a whole life standpoint.
What we were doing was bringing in really interesting professionals from around the community and getting groups together of young adults to get guidance.
We wanted this to be as intimate and open as possible. It was a roundtable discussion. We were really fostering these amazing ideas, and it created this tight bond between us.
I think we could change many lives.
We've been in touch ever since.
If you or your family member is struggling with their mental health, we have a mental health referral line. Call us, we'll consult with you, we'll refer you to professionals that we've vetted and we have relationships with, whether it's in our own counseling center or private professionals. We have a whole team that will respond.
I feel comfortable referring all my clients to SBH when needed because I know that they'll take the best care.
As much as they want us involved, we get involved. We continuously give them the support and tools to help them help themselves.
I know that whoever I send there will be in the best of hands.
And that's really the beauty of this organization. It is so multifaceted that nobody will ever fall through the cracks.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. On behalf of SBH, I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. Tonight is a milestone for our organization and our community, one that I hope we will all reflect on as a turning point in how we think about mental wellness. We have an incredible program planned for tonight, remarkable speakers, and an opportunity to shine a light on one of the most important issues facing our generation. Before we begin, I'd like to ask a favor. If you're able, can everybody please stand up for a moment? can just be quiet for a moment. And please close your eyes for a moment. Thank you. Please remain standing if you've experienced a mental health or emotional challenge at some point in your life, or if you've had a close friend or family member experience a mental health or emotional challenge in their lives. Everyone else, please have a seat. If you're still standing, please remain standing for just another moment. And now everyone, look around at the tent. This is our community. Thank you for your courage to be here tonight. This is why we're here tonight, because we're all in this together. Please be seated. Mental health challenges don't discriminate. They don't care what neighborhood you live in, what school your children attend, what shul you belong to, what your income level is. They affect every corner of our community, our friends, our families, and yes, each of us. For too long, too many people experienced these challenges quietly because they were afraid to ask for help, or too embarrassed to admit they needed it, or simply because for too long we didn't understand it. Thankfully, we're changing. For more than 50 years, whenever our community has faced a challenge, SBH has had one message: here for you. And tonight, we're asking every person who may be struggling to hear this message. You are not alone. We are here for you. SBH has made mental wellness one of our defining priorities, and we are leading the community's efforts to tackle the issue. With Hashem's help, we've built one of the most comprehensive mental wellness resources anywhere in the world. And as you'll hear tonight, our mental wellness division includes educational programming, community awareness, prevention, referrals, and an extraordinary counseling center, staffed by over 50 exceptional clinicians specializing in all aspects of mental wellness. Last year alone, our counseling center provided nearly 30,000 hours of therapy for our community. Thank you. That's an incredible number when you break it down and do the math. And behind every one of those hours is a person who found hope, a marriage that became stronger, a teenager who finally felt understood, a parent who learned how to help their struggling child, a family who realized they didn't have to face life's challenges alone. And that's what SBH Mental Wellness is really about. I'm incredibly proud that when one of us needs help with mental wellness, we don't have to look far. We don't have to look outside our community. We can and receive world-class care from exceptional professionals who understand our values and our families. And that's exactly how it should be for us. Tonight, we'll hear very powerful stories from people whose lives have changed because someone reached out, because someone cared, and because they remembered something incredibly important: that they were not alone. None of this happens by accident. Initiatives grow because individuals and families step forward and invest in the future of our community. I'd like to thank all of the many people who took this vision for tonight and helped make it a reality. It took an army, and we had an army. You all know who you are, and so from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I'd especially like to thank and recognize our wonderful hosts, Mr. Joey and Jennifer Oved. Joey and Jen, thank you for graciously opening your home, for believing in the mission, and for leading by example to make tonight such a smashing success. Joe, look around. We didn't even dream of this many people. If you will, please come up, Joey and Jen, and accept a special token of our appreciation, just to say thank you for having us tonight. They didn't know this was happening. I'm just going to read what it says. And it says, with gratitude for your infinite support and dedication to SBH, presented to Jennifer and Joey Oved. Thank you. Expanding and strengthening our mental wellness division is among our highest priorities. And that's why it deserves one of SBH's finest leaders. And that's why I asked the former president of SBH to chair this division and to MC our event tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend, former SBH president, and the current chair of the SBH Mental Wellness Division, Mr. Jack Aney.
Thank you, Eddie. Before I begin, I do want to take a moment just to thank Eddie on my behalf, on behalf of David Beta, and on behalf of the entire community for the amazing work that he's been doing at SBH, for the amazing direction, guidance, vision, and complete love that he has and where SBH has been going since he took leadership. Thank you, Eddie, for all that you do. We love you too. Good evening, everyone. We're very excited tonight to share with you the work that SBH has been doing in the mental wellness space. For too long, mental health wasn't given the proper respect. If someone broke a bone, they went in for a procedure, we understood it. We felt with them. They would share with us what they're going through. We'd pray for them, we'd put them on the chats, we'd say Tehillim, send them up to an Aliyah, go visit them. We showed them that they were not alone. We showed them that we cared. When it came to mental wellness, you wouldn't hear boo. Instead of embracing it, we would basically poo-poo it. We tell them, forget about it. It'll get better tomorrow. Be strong. You'll snap out of it. We would tell them it's all in your mind. Today things have changed drastically. It's all in your mind is a big deal because we know scientifically that the mind and the body are connected. And when the mind is struggling, the body, there's manifestations, physical ailments that come about. And more than that, if we don't know the science behind it, we know that anybody going through a mental health journey is suffering in every single aspect of their life. And it's contagious. It's not just them. It's every one of their family members that are taken with them. In short, the mind really does matter. SBH has been at the forefront of mental health for over 30 years. Today, we're recognized as the premier provider in our community of mental health services and resources. And as Eddie mentioned, about 30,000 hours were given to the community just last year, 52 therapists, 1,266 new clients last year. Tonight we're going to invite you to join with us in hearing from people you know different perspectives about mental health. You'll hear it from our staff, our volunteers, our clients who went through it, our therapists. And through all of that, you're going to see, as we know, how amazing our community is, how amazing SBH is, and how much we can do when we work together. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first, an amazing rabbi, an amazing person who has dedicated his life to Torah, Avodah, and Gemilut Hasadim. Personal friend, Rabbi Joey Haber.
Thank you, Jack, very much for those very kind words. Tonight, there is an event called the ESPYs. The ESPYs is an event where they honor the best ball players in all of the different sports. Keynote speaker. In 1993, the keynote speaker was a man named Jimmy V. And the speech has become epic and blazed in most people who see it in memory, because when Jimmy V gave the speech, he had only a few months left to his life. And he gave it with passion, and gave it with energy, and gave it with enthusiasm. And it's a speech that inspired many in the many years since. Moment where I witnessed a speech like that. I was in Deal Shul, I have no idea how many years ago it was. And Joel Risti, Alav Shalom, was making a speech on behalf, I believe, of SBH, Hillel Yeshiva. And I remember knowing that he wasn't well and only had a short time left. And he brought energy, and he brought passion, and he brought enthusiasm and love for the community. I was like, how's he doing this? Eddie, I'm a big fan of fathers. I believe I came, and I believe that you do too. And your dad, and the passion and the love that he brought, not just to be a coach in Hillel, but to the community, is one that is very much inside of you. The president of SBH is one of the most important and prestigious positions in our entire community. And you carry it, and you've already proved that you can carry it really, really well. And so on behalf of every other rabbi across the community, I want to wish you beracha and hatzlacha. You have what it takes. You come from what it takes. You bring what it takes. And every single day you bring the commitment and the passion that's needed to be able to take SBH from one level to the next to the next. Because tonight we're only here on behalf of one division. So what you're leading is so powerful and so incredible. So like I said, on behalf of our community and its rabbis, thank you. Tonight, I believe, is no big deal. Tonight is no big deal. Mental wellness needs to get to a point where it's no big deal. We need to get to a place where it's not a story, where a parent doesn't get nervous, when a spouse is not concerned, when a child realizing that maybe even their parent has a mental health challenge, they look at it, no big deal. We need to get to that place. In fact, I want to share with you a Rashi that I think, in some ways makes this point. To me, this Rashi is very powerful. If you look in our Torah, it tells us where Sarah Imenu passed away. There's a whole section, Chaye Sarah. 20 pesukim about her death, her eulogies, and her burial. Where in the Torah does it say that Rivka Imenu passed away? You could look, and you could keep on looking. It's nowhere. Nowhere in the Torah does it say where Rivka Imenu passed away. There's a pasuk that says, "Vatamot sham Devorah meneke Rivka." Devorah, which is Rivka's nurse, the Torah tells us when she passed away. So Rashi says, you're telling us about the nurse. Why don't you tell us about her? And Rashi answers the question. He says, because Rivka Imenu had a son that was wayward. And because of that, people would talk. Lefikach helima et yom motah. Because of that, the Torah hides her passing. I don't understand. So Rivka had a challenge. Sarah also had a challenge. Sarah didn't have a child till she was 90. She was taken to a foreign king twice. She was in world wars. What's the difference? The answer is simple and obvious. Sarah Imenu's challenge was a physical challenge. And when you overcome a physical challenge, you're viewed as a conquering hero. Rivka Imenu's challenge was an emotional challenge. And when people have an emotional challenge, so often they are embarrassed. So the Torah says we're going to protect the dignity of Rivka. And what I've learned in speaking to so many different audiences is this, is that everyone has a little Rivka Imenu in them. Everybody is a little broken. Everybody has a little bit of their challenge in their emotional and mental wellness. For some people, it's because of something that took place in their life. And for some people, it's just because of the chemicals that they were born with. And for some people, it's both. There are so many people with anxiety and others with depression and others with OCD. And we need to get to a point where we view it like no big deal. We have to get to a point when someone says and someone realizes that their wife needs medication, you say, okay, you'll take medication. We need to get to a point when a parent, a child has challenges sitting in school, we say, okay, we're going to work with it. We have to get to the point that mental health is like getting braces. When you put on braces, no one says, oh, wow, they need braces. You might need it on for a little while. It might be painful at times. You might need to have checkups afterwards to make sure it's maintained and wear one of those things that nobody wears. I forgot what it's even called. The bite plate. That's braces. No parent ever said, oh my goodness, your teeth are crooked. They're like, okay, your teeth are crooked. Let's go to the orthodontist and let's deal with it. That's how mental health has to be. It needs to become no big deal. It needs to be something that a parent realizes that my child has it. Okay, let's help them. Let's get them some time with SBH. Let's give them some meetings. If they need medication, let's get them medication. Because let's be honest, if it's not in every other house, it's in every house. It is. In fact, if you have older children and younger children, you'll see that it's more in your younger than the older. It's all over the place, and it's more and more. So we keep acting like, uh-oh, what are we going to do? We're making the challenge so much worse than it needs to be. I don't know if this story fits to say or if it's even appropriate, but I'll conclude with it. Because I think in a certain way it makes the point. This Shabbat in our shul, we had a rabbi in town, Memphis, Tennessee. He knows our community. I believe there's a basketball tournament that the yeshivot play in Memphis, Tennessee, and he hosts them. He's involved. And we're giving a class. In the middle of the class, it was a sit-down class. He says, Rabbi, I want to tell you a story. Random story. Makes a point. So there was a couple in Memphis in the 1950s and 60s. And they had this Gentile boy that they took care of. This boy was in a tough position, needed help. They gave him food. They took care of him. They were nice to him and they were kind for him. This boy was a guitar player. And he played the guitar. No one knew his name. Eventually started playing in clubs. And eventually became the most famous singer in American history. Should I say his name? I'm not sure if you need a rabbi to say his name, but you get his name. If you need a hint, he has peot. And because this man was taken in by Jewish people, he always had a love for the Jewish people. In many of his concerts, he wore a chai necklace or a Jewish star. In 1973, the Memphis Hebrew Academy, the Jewish religious Orthodox school, was in a difficult position. And they were going to close. And the Jewish community went to this man and asked him for help. Yes, you know what I'm talking about. Of Jews. And he wrote a check in 1973 for $300,000 to save the Jewish school. In Graceland, there's a little plaque somewhere hidden that says, the Jewish School of Memphis, Tennessee would like to thank Mr. Presley for saving the yeshiva. I think the yeshiva wanted to honor him, but I guess by then he left the building. But you know what's interesting about this man? He may have been kind. He may have even loved our people. He was definitely talented. But before he was old enough, he was dead. Because people didn't know how to address challenges that were emotional back then. We are in a lucky time in our community. Because SBH has stood at the forefront and the willingness to address these challenges. We stood at the forefront to make sure that a Rivka Imenu feels like a Sarai Imenu. that a wonderful young lady or wonderful young man that has all the talent in the world and all the capability and all the beracha and all the gifts and is a beautiful person is able to get the help they need in order to feel that way, in order to be that way, in order to have the marriage they need, in order to raise the children they need, in order to be as productive as they need to be. Thank you to the Oved family for making a night like tonight that will hopefully make mental wellness just like braces. No big deal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rabbi, for those powerful words. Hazak Baruch. Our next speaker is a volunteer in our mental health resources committee. Together with her team, she makes sure that we're always raising community awareness on the issues that are pervading in our community and that are important to all of us and to our children. Fun fact, she was also recently recognized as our volunteer. It's my pleasure to introduce Danielle Bijou.
A few years back, during my graduate school studies, I interned at the SBH Counseling Center. I worked closely with children, teens, and young adults who sought out support for an array of different disorders and challenges. I began to understand each client individually and learned what their particular needs were in order to guide them in the best way I could. Throughout the process, I saw tremendous progress in my clients. Developed and increased personal awareness of their strengths and vulnerabilities. This enabled them to make mindful choices. It empowered them. It strengthened their confidence and self-worth. But more importantly, it showed them that seeking guidance and support wasn't a weakness, but was a strength. It opened the door and possibility for growth and to navigate life and common stressors in a healthy way. As I furthered my clinical work at SBH, I began to learn what their focus and mission truly was. SBH certainly prioritized individual counseling. They simultaneously had a big picture focus. They were looking at community needs as a whole, analyzing trends, rising stressors, and common challenges that weigh on community members on a daily basis. As I became aware of all that SBH was doing behind the scenes, I instantly knew that I wanted to help in any way I can and learn from such leaders. In that given moment, I realized that mental health support was a multi-dimensional process. A huge opportunity in addressing mental health needs on a communal level alongside an individual one. There doesn't have to be a crisis or a catastrophe for SBH to step in. SBH focuses on the day-to-day, the stressors that creep up on us most and slowly chip away at our inner stability, whether it be personal relationships, children, work-life balance, finances, health, all things that should not have to be navigated alone. Challenges that when not properly equipped to face and overcome can end up leading to brewing. Yet, mental wellness doesn't solely consist of overcoming challenges or hard moments. That's just half the picture. Mental wellness is about living an enhanced quality of life, learning how to be proactive of our choices and our outlook on life instead of being reactive, educating ourselves and adopting certain skills in order to prepare before the need even exists, such as learning how to communicate properly in a marriage, how to be a supportive friend, learning how to cope with difficult being present for our children, understanding how to separate work life with personal life, how to combat bullying, and how to manage finances and all the stress that it brings. The list can go on, because life comes with its constant demands, and it is our job to navigate them properly before they begin to navigate us. Just to bring this idea to life, I had a client at the counseling center who simply wanted to be proactive about a new chapter in her life. She was a 23-year-old new mother who wanted to balance alongside her growing career and her role as a wife and friend. She wanted to learn what to do when her baby was off schedule and how to embrace and be comfortable with the uncertainty and chaos. And lastly, she wanted to be equipped for future challenging moments, such as long sleepless nights, proper disciplining, making mindful choices for the child's future, and being present and patient with her baby. Was there any crisis present? No. Any mental illness present? No again. Present was a new mother who anticipated all the responsibilities and change that was going to come and simply wanted to prepare for it. She walked out as a confident, self-aware young woman who knew she had all the resources and guidance on her fingertips if she needed it through SBH. To me, that is mental wellness. Being able to be proactive with the most important thing, our life. So that when life's challenges do come at us, because they certainly will, we are ready for them. Before I end, I would like to personally thank them I work under to make this mission possible. Thank you to our community leaders, Mr. Ronnie Towell, Jack Aney, Michelle Levy, and Rena Asher, along as our staff members Shlomo Lieberman, Susan Shmuel, and Sharon Abipal, and of course, my fellow committee members, Danielle Mendelawi, Alice Sitt, and Sharon Batesh. I learned so much from them, and their vision truly drives our mission. SBH Mental Wellness would be nothing without them. I truly feel so grateful to be part of this special organization and important cause. Thank you.
Every single person who has reached out to me personally after I shared my personal struggles, whether it was through infertility or being a single mother, the first thing I told them is reach out to SBH. We want to provide the resources to community schools and to families so they never get to those crisis moments.
As someone who runs a school with 600 plus students, I can tell you that our young adults have all sorts of challenges and need all types of support.
We go into the schools, provide a lot of different types of programming.
Courage to Heal has been bringing a new program called Safety Kid into the schools, geared towards preschoolers up until 4th grade, speaking to kids about fire safety, stranger awareness, most importantly, body autonomy.
We do anti-bullying. We also have a relationships course that we go in for the high schools called Relating with Respect, where we teach about healthy relationships.
We keep in touch with their parents whenever there's a struggle or a challenge that they're facing. We try to give them the tools and the strategies to work through them. And sometimes they do need a little extra support outside of school, and that's when we need to call SBH.
We've had students in really difficult positions, and knowing that they're in the clinic, that they're getting the care under one umbrella and one roof, with a psychiatrist, with a therapist, even with caseworkers who are working with their family. So everybody's in the loop, everybody's in the know, and everybody's communicating.
They'll give you options. Oh, you want a male, you want a female, older, younger.
Every aspect of the mental health team is working together.
The job never ends in the classroom. That's the beauty of SBH, the continuity. There's always a connection that remains way past the classroom.
We found it to be a fantastic relationship because of the confidentiality and the professionalism that SBH has.
I'm amazed by the confidentiality of SBH, and I want to encourage people to reach out for help. Nobody will know if you are asking for help.
We recognize that certain couples could use a little more help, and thank God for the counseling center. We refer many of our clients there. It's a very easy process. We always know they're in good hands.
Congregants usually come to me in their most vulnerable times. People call us, sometimes they need guidance, sometimes reassurance, but sometimes you can tell that there are red flags, and SBH has been really very helpful at matching them with the right therapist for them. I have always been so amazed on how willing they are to help.
Life is a journey not meant to be walked alone. That's where SBH comes in. That's where this added security for your own personal mental being comes in.
Having that support from the beginning could kind of nip it in the bud, make you feel less alone, know that you have the support of the people around you who just get you and understand you, and they give you that support that you need.
Don't close the idea to getting treatment. Speak to the clinician, reach out to the intake team.
There's no reason why you shouldn't call.
It doesn't matter if you're married for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. Whenever you feel ready, SBH is ready for you.
Use and utilize the services that SBH makes available for us all the time.
It doesn't have to be a major problem or a major issue going on in one's life. It's navigating everyday life that we are here to provide those skills.
You are not alone.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
You are not alone.
You're not alone.
You're not alone.
You are not alone.
You're not alone.
You are not alone.
You're not alone.
You are not alone.
SBH has always prided itself on its volunteers. They essentially run the organization and they embody the heart that is SBH. Many of you are familiar with our captains. Captains are the angels among us that dress up like community members. They work with our social workers to help people through different difficulties in their lives. Tonight, we're very excited to announce that we're expanding the to mental wellness. We're calling it case management, and the goal is to create a team of qualified and trained volunteers who will partner with our professional staff and therapists to provide mental health care and to provide mental wellness to the clients. As Trump would say, this is huge. Not only are we looking to assist the client with mental challenges that they're going through, this resource is also going to be available to the entire family and support network of that individual. This program is first of its kind, and it's truly a game changer. Families and the support network are going to finally get the help and the support that they need to assist the individual who's going through the challenge. It's a very heavy lift. It's a very heavy lift because these situations don't always have, and they don't always have an end. It's not always rational. But when we say you are not alone, we mean it. And Be'ezat Hashem, with your help tonight, with your support, we will have this program up and running in just a few short months. Clearly, navigating mental health issues requires expert guidance. It's my pleasure to introduce to you our amazing director of our Mental Wellness Division. He's widely regarded as one of the top experts in his field. He's an amazing person. He stays up all hours of the night with us working. He provides us with invaluable advice and direction as we grow our amazing division into a world-class institution. It's my honor to introduce tonight Mr. Shlomo Lieberman.
Wow. You know, when we started preparing for tonight, the question was, how do we get people to come out for a mental health night? So I don't know what happens later tonight, but we answered that question. Before I go on, and I have about 4 minutes to tell you about what took decades of SBH's development, I'd like to share with you my past with SBH. I'm not only SBH's mental health director today, I was also in 1991 SBH's first student social worker. So I've been around and I've watched over the decades the experience that SBH has had. You see behind me, there's prevention and intervention. You may have gotten confused and heard so much about the different programs and not sure what's going on. Well, let me tell you how this works. We have people coming in, and I remember in the end of the 90s when the counseling center was just a theory. And we said, would anybody show up? And now we have 30,000 sessions a year. So we have a counseling center, close to 60 mental health professionals. Probably by the end of the summer, it'll be 60, okay? Within that counseling center, we do a needs assessment across the community, and we look at the needs of what's going on, and we do extra special training for those clinicians in the community, in the counseling center. So just the child treatment, the couples, the fertility, the anxiety, the trauma cohort that's connected to the Courage to Heal program into prevention. Those are hours and hours and hours of training. When I came back to SBH a few years ago, David Beta told me my mission was to create Park Avenue service on McDonald Avenue. And we've done it. But more importantly than all of this, I'd like to share with you the thinking behind it. You've all gotten fans on your seats, little fans like this on the back, and I know it's small, I'm an old man, I can't read it. There's what it's called a bibliography, a short bibliography. It came across my desk just this week. A perfect analogy for the transition of therapy. If you want to know what somebody goes through in therapy, this is what they go through in therapy. Are we putting it on the screen? Okay. Okay. Chapter 1. I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes to find my way out. Chapter 2. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place. But it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. I still fall. It's a habit. But my eyes are open. It's my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4. I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. And of course, chapter 5, I walk down another street. That is, in a nutshell, the process of somebody going through therapy. The thinking in SBH is what if? What if we take 30 years, 35 years, over 3 decades worth of pulling people out of a hole, and we start teaching people where those holes are, and we start warning them earlier? What if we start giving skills to young couples who are married for 1, 2, 5 years, so that when they're married 20 to 30 years, they're still best friends? What if we give the skills to young adults so that they don't make the same mistakes? Or even if they do, they have a navigation to get out of those holes. It'll increase their awareness, their ability, not only psychologically, but socially, emotionally, maybe even spiritually, and sometimes even financially. What happens when we give people who have in their lives the skills that they need to turn those challenges into opportunities and create a better lives for themselves? Well, 2 things happen when we do that. One thing is, not only do we teach people to walk around the holes, but we as a community begin to fill the holes so people don't walk into them in the first place. The other thing that happens, stop worrying about our mental health, and we begin to celebrate our mental wellness. Thank you.
Our next speaker is one of the most amazing and resilient people I have ever met. I met him about a year ago at a very difficult time. And after speaking with him about his experience and learning about him from mental health and what was happening around him at the time from his perspective, I am inspired beyond words. It's an honor to introduce you, Sean.
Thank you so much for being here. First and foremost, I want to thank Hashem for such a beautiful night. Is it good? Gotta make it higher. I want to take a quick second to acknowledge the most incredible community in the world. All of you who were there for us, my friends, we are so lucky. Thank you to Jennifer and Joey Oved for hosting this amazing event. Thank you to SBH for allowing me to speak. It's an honor. Eddie Rishti, David Beta, Jack Aney, Rena Asher, Rochelle Mansour, and the whole SBH staff. And of course, the Crisis Center. I'm also honored to share a stage with the great Rabbi Joey Haber, one of my favorite humans on the planet. And I have to mention Molly Haber as well, and I'll leave it at that because she'll kill me. Also Saul Batesh, one of my best friends, and was there for me in the toughest time. So it's fitting that you're speaking tonight. And I know my grandpa Richie would be very upset highlighting him, but I'm so proud that he was one of the founding members, along with Uncle Freddie Bijou, in founding this amazing organization. When they started this organization, it was just to visit the sick in hospitals, and look where he would be so amazed at what it is today. So a few weeks ago, I got a call from Rena Asher, and she asked me to speak. And my first reaction was, I'm going to speak? What should I say? But quickly, there was a reversal, and I immediately just said, yes, 100% I'll speak. How could I not, when SBH has done so much for me and my family? So tonight I'm going to tell you a story, my story, about the darkest period of my life and how SBH helped me through it. On October 21st, 2024, was one of the days of my life. That day, my wife and I learned after a long while of trying to get pregnant that we have great news. A second baby's on the way, Baruch Hashem. We couldn't believe it. A lot of no's, and finally Hashem blessed us. So you can imagine the emotion and excitement that we had, how eager we were to tell our parents, call them up, share the news. And on top of that great news, there was a chance for me to bring my father his namesake, Zaki. So I think no matter what, every son just wants to make their dad proud. And this was the perfect opportunity. So me and Lauren called my mom, freaking out. We were elated. And my mom says, should we tell Daddy? And right when she asked that, I said, no. We got to tell him in person. So we came up with a plan that we were going to surprise my dad the next day and deliver the news. That next morning, he was playing pickleball, and we planned to be waiting for him at the house. But unfortunately, we never got to tell him. Everything was lined up. I'm driving down the highway, driving like a maniac. No. Everything was lined up. I'm driving down the highway on a beautiful, gorgeous day. My wife and I are elated. We're building our family. What could go wrong? Next thing I know, I'm 45 minutes away on the highway, driving like a maniac to the hospital to see my dad for the last time. So that was crushing, as you can imagine. A shock that's indescribable. So now what? Your father's gone in an instant. What do you do with the ultimate loss that you never saw coming? And before you could process anything, a locomotive train of the mourning period is quickly moving into place. And underneath that train, quietly, denial was forming. So even though I was sitting Shiva, there were so many moments I had to stop and take a break. I would go to the bathroom and stare in the mirror. What the hell is happening? And I just counted the minutes until the day would be done, so I could be totally alone, because I just had to fix this. I remember having this obsessive thought that I dreamed about it. So I went into my lonely world with the mission to bring my dad back from his vacation. I had this major itch all day long that I needed to go to the cemetery to pick him up. He was waiting for me, so I couldn't eat or sleep until I did. I was wrestling with this thought over and over again, every single day. And then I finally mustered up courage to go there. And I didn't tell I wasn't allowed to drive. I wasn't allowed to go to the cemetery. But I did it anyway. And also, they didn't know that I knew it was a mistake. And everybody got it wrong. My dad was waiting for me there. That first drive there, each minute that passed, the fear and pressure were mounting. On one hand, I'm going to pick up my dad. On the other, in my subconscious, I'm on Mission Impossible. So when I get there, the inevitable disappointment crushed me into a million pieces. And I just curled up and lay next to him crying. And the denial didn't stop there. Because even in that very moment, driving home, I was questioning the reality of what just occurred. Did it even happen? Was I even there? I remember late at night, when everybody was asleep and I was wired, I would just Google and research how many people pass away and then lived. Rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole. I would drive by the hospital so I could speak to the doctors. Let them tell me they made a mistake. It wasn't my father, it was someone else. I'd walk up to the steps, but eventually I'd turn right back. Tomorrow I'll do it. During During this time, I had one real safe place. My daughter. Because to her, we were the same. She had no idea what happened. Nothing happened. Nothing changed. The only place I wanted to be was with her. In that reality. But even that got interrupted. Because one day, she says, "Daddy, put that movie on." And that movie was The Lion King. A movie we all grew up on. And then comes the scene when Simba has to go because Mufasa just passed away. That's when reality set in, finally. I couldn't contain myself. No more hiding, and I started crying. Mission Impossible was over. No more denial. Just a lot of anger, sadness, and shutting everything out. So now it was a full commitment to cling on to anything I could do for my dad. Kaddish, learning, money, with my amazing brothers, being with my family, taking care of the family, especially my mom and my sister. And that's all we focused on. Nothing else mattered unless it had to do with raising my father up. The purpose was so pure, but it was extremely difficult because I was so angry. But there was one constant. SBH was always there. I'm going to take you back to that day. When I remember the pain, I remember feeling completely lost, like a deer in the headlights, not knowing where I was or what was happening around me. But in the middle of all that, angels. In all the chaos, I remember two ladies introduced themselves and made sure to tell me, "We're with you right now and moving forward." I barely knew Rena or Rochelle, yet something about their presence felt just right. We couldn't lean on our spouses or even each other because we were all experiencing unimaginable pain. But somehow these incredible people stepped in and carried us when we couldn't stand on our own. They simply showed up with compassion. And somehow, from the moment they were there, you felt safer. Such an incredible organization. This week, I asked Jack Aney something I wondered about for a long time. I said, "How do you do it? How do you be there for a stranger like that when their world is unraveling before your eyes?" He answered with two simple words: "We care." And it's so true, but it's more than that. They care so much, and so many people care. Everybody here cares. That is the beauty of the best community in the world. But what makes SBH so important is that during crisis, they run to it. They run to the pain. They witness it. They stand in it with us, not trying to fix it, because they understand that this isn't something that can be fixed. They have the strength and patience to simply stay all the way through. And that is much harder than people realize. They knew that grief doesn't end after the funeral or Shiva. They gave us access to grief counselors, therapists, rabbis, every resource we needed. And for those who weren't ready, they never gave up trying. They found gentle ways to keep showing up. I wasn't interested in talking to most people, yet somehow was always open to the great people of SBH. To finish with this, SBH is an organization that took the part of me trying to bring back my father from the heavens and helped me redirect that energy into becoming better each day. The mantra for this evening is, "You are not alone." How fitting. Thank you.
Everybody has heroes. Some people's heroes are home run hitters. Other people's heroes are great philanthropists. Other people's heroes are great gedolim. Other people's heroes are singers that can sing and dance on a stage. Those are not my heroes. My heroes are the people in life and stand up to talk about it. My heroes are the people that had a twist or a turn that they never anticipated and had enough courage to stand up and overcome. Enough belief to realize that the Pasuk says, Sheva yipot tzaddik v'kam, that you can fall and that can lead to your greatness. Richie, you are one of my heroes. Ever since I got to know you, your commitment to your father's legacy, to your mom, Sophia was here, your brothers Sam and Jackie, your sister Sally, your commitment to your wife Lauren and your children, and your willingness and your determination to make sure that you keep on going and you keep on growing, keep on changing, and keep on improving. It's way greater than a Super Bowl winning quarterback. That's a hero. So on behalf of everyone, we thank you for your courage and we thank you for your story. But I'm here to introduce tonight another hero. It's interesting that the two stories we're going to hear about are both moments that most of us in this tent will never forget. I never forget sitting in my room on that Chol HaMoed morning and finding out that a man who was so great and was so holy and was so growing and so loving of Torah and mitzvot had just fallen on the pickleball court and passed away. I'll never forget that day when Zach Mishon's life was taken. And everyone in this tent will also never forget the day, that Shabbat afternoon, when a car was driving on Ocean Parkway, and it took the life of a mother and her two beautiful daughters in one swoop. The story is still not imaginable. The fact, hoping it wasn't true, the fact that Diana and Deborah are not here, and their mother Natasha is also not here, is still hard to believe. I think most of us would agree that every time you pass that spot on Quentin Road and Ocean Parkway, you just wonder, could it really have happened? Is it really true? And that's what leads us to our next hero, Sidney Seder. This man's demeanor and this man's courage, this man's generosity, this man's openness, this man's optimism, this man's belief, this man's sense of humor, and this man's commitment to his family is an awe to watch. 30 days after half his family was taken from him, we happened to be in Israel together. Him for his Shiloshim and us for our father's year in the same hotel. And we got to watch one of our community heroes. Everyone's got a different way they do it. Everyone has a different way that they approach it. But Sidney Seder, you are an incredible person. Someone that it's an awe to watch. An awe to watch how you take care of your child, your sons. An awe to watch how you moved on. An awe to watch how much you lift up the part of your family that's no longer here, and or to watch how much effort you do to put the pieces together. So it's my honor to introduce Sydney Seda.
Hashem, for this opportunity, for giving me the strength, and for continuing to give me the strength to be able to mechazek the people around me. I would like to also thank Mr. and Mrs. Oved for opening their home for this beautiful night of awareness. May you only have simcha and happiness in your home. Last but not least, I would like to thank the community for what they have done for me and my family. You have no Now, let's begin what we hear on this evening. SBH was there for me in my hardest and darkest times. Whether it was making sure my house was stocked with food, whether I needed volunteers in the hospital around the clock to be with my son, whether it was taking care of the house when I was sitting Shiva. They just took over and made sure it was. I didn't have to ask where I didn't have to ask. They were already there. Now coming to the mental health division. I'm sure we all know this man called Simon Nisim. He has this English accent. You can't miss him, really. I didn't know at the time. I was on the way to the hospital, and he was in the backseat of the car. And I hear this guy chirping with his English accent. I'm like, who's in the back? And he goes, it's Simon. Okay. He took on my case with the scenario that I was going through in my darkest time. He was a huge role in stabilizing my mental health at my darkest moments. He told me when it was appropriate time to grieve and when it was not to grieve. He told me how to respond to my son's many questions that he had at the time, questions I did not have answers. Simon knew how to be there for me as a friend when necessary, as well as a professional when I needed it most. That balance saved me. Now, I want to talk to the person out there that is experiencing their own darkness right now, who thinks they are all alone, lost and helpless in their circumstances. You should know there's always a spark of light in the darkness. SBH Mental Health Division was a part of that light for me. Many people think they needed permission to take that step in mental health, to take care of themselves. I'm here to tell you and give you the awareness that SBH is here to help you and give you that permission. To take that vacation, to have that night out with friends, to take that hour of self-care. You owe it to yourself. To get help, you need to take care of your own mental health. SBH is here to support you in that journey. With all the support, it was not only through the alliance of my Rabbi Yosef Ozeri, with SBH Mental Health Division, that enabled me to push through to get me to where I am today. One does not work without the other. They worked hand in hand to truly guide me and support me in the greatest of ways. I also need to thank, before I go, is the chabatot that I had day in and day out, who helped me learn and sit with me day in and day out. Because the Torah is really the only thing that keep me going. It gave me the strength and clarity to understand that the doctors were telling me, the therapist, everything came clear to me. The Torah was my biggest ally. And again, I want to thank SBH for really helping me really through my darkest times. Simon Nisim was there every step of the way with the rabbis, the doctors, the therapists, to teach me what to tell my sons and what was going on. Thank you.
I'm not even going to try to follow. I only wish that I had the resources that each of you had when we went through my family's trauma 27 years ago. I admire your courage and your bravery for being able to stand up here and share your stories, so thank you very much for sharing with all of us. Thank you for inspiring us to see that within darkness there is light. Before we close, I'd like to make a special announcement. I'm proud to announce that the entire Oved family tonight has generously agreed to become the sponsor of the SBH Mental Wellness Division. Which will, from now on, and I've been waiting all night to announce this, will be known as the Oved Family Mental Wellness Division of SBH. Thank you, Isaac, David, Ronnie, Michael, and all your families for believing in us and for helping us build this incredibly important initiative. I can't think of a better family to partner with on this important mission. So on behalf of the entire SBH family, thank you for your leadership and your generosity and your commitment to this critical mission that we're all on together. And finally, I'd like to invite up one of the chairs of tonight's event and our closer to have the last word, someone who I've gotten to know pretty well over the last 12 months since he started his journey into SBH. Mr. Salbatesh, please come up and take us home. The floor is yours.
First off, there have been a lot of thanks tonight to a lot of different people, which are all very well deserved. I would like to first thank every single person that has decided to come tonight and support this unbelievable organization. Should each and every single one of you be very proud that you're here. Second of all, I want to say, wow, Richie and Sydney, that was next level. Really, thank you for your meaningful, incredible, and impactful words.